Yo guys, what's going on? Acez is here today with another video. In today's video, I'm going to give you guys 3 out of raid tips to help you level up faster in Escape from Tarkov. I'm going to do another video with 3 in raid tips to help you level up faster, but this video is strictly focused on out of raid. So basically, tips for you to level up faster without even being in raid. Do me a favor, make sure you're dropping a like, and of course, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. The reason I'm making this video is because there's a little tool for us YouTubers in our analytics where we can check what searches are trending for a certain topic. So when I type in Escape from Tarkov, I saw one of the top searches is how to level up, and then there was another one, how to level up fast in Tarkov, back to back. So I figure some people might need to know how to level up a little bit quicker. So that's what is inspiring these 2 videos, this one now being the out of raid. So it's going to be fairly short and straightforward in today's video. Hopefully you find it informative enough to leave that like. Let's head into the hideout. So when you guys are, I would say, probably like level 8, level 9, it's somewhere in that range. It's a little bit before level 15, but it is, it's a decent bit into the hideout. I don't know what starts the progression, but at some point you are going to get a defective wall right here. And basically, it's going to give you a certain amount of debuffs, and as it progresses and gets worse, it's going to make your debuffs worse. And one of those debuffs is less raid XP. And one thing that you can do to not completely remove the debuff, but at least help with it, is mop the floor. There's going to be an option here. It's going to be defective wall, and it's going to say mop the floor, and you're going to need 1 fleece. Now, this is going to get worse, and I would highly recommend looking up how to get the gym, have all of those items in your stash, including the giant sledgehammer. I would recommend being ready, because on the final stage of the wall, I think it's like minus 10% XP. So you just mopping the floor will bring that down. I think it's like cuts it in half or takes almost like 66 to 75% of it away. There's a couple ways to get fleece. Obviously, if you don't have the flea market yet, which you probably don't, if you can get lavatory too, I'm not sure if you can. I'm actually making some right now. The fleece is here in Lav 2, and this will actually be the item you need to mop the floor and help with those debuffs. So basically, just by mopping the floor, you are going to be getting more XP in every single one of your raids because the debuff is not as strong. So keep that in mind. Fleece is also available on the flea market for about 20,000 rubles, and I believe you can find fleece in some of those clothing stores on interchange fairly easily, and also pretty much in any duffel bag you have a chance to find some fleece. So that is tip number 1. All right, guys, tip number 2 is extremely important for XP gain if you can afford to do it. So every single time you die in raid, you are met with a healing screen after you die. If you decline the healing from Therapist, you'll go into your stash with about 120 health. It's somewhere in that range, and that doesn't include any bleeds you might have, light or heavy, any fractures, obviously, and anything else with a health status. All of that stuff will not be healed if you decline the healing services at the end of raid. Now, if you just go into a raid and back out, you will reset your health to anywhere from 7 to 9, depending on when you get back in your stash. So it does, drop off that 120 health. It does give you back immediately. But if you decline the health services from Therapist, you can heal yourself. And every single time you use a med to heal, you get XP. If you have a fracture and you use a splint, that's going to be 50 XP, I believe, just based off memory. I think a light bleed is like 20 or 25 XP. I think a heavy bleed is like 30 or 40. And then the fracture, like I said, is 50. And then every single health point will be 1 XP. So usually after your raid, you have about 120 health. You'll get about 300 to 330 XP every single time by healing. But it is quite expensive. If you're just buying some AI2s, I mean, these things are like 6,000 rubles if you don't have the flea market. If you already have the flea market, you could buy them for like 3K, but there's a lot better items to purchase at that point. I would just recommend a Grizzly to make it easier, and you're healing everything with the Grizzly. Light, heavy, and fractures, all that stuff gets healed with a Grizzly. So that is literally as simple as it is for tip number 2. Just heal in your stash, and you will get significantly more XP. Now, this third tip isn't exactly a way like the first two to actually increase your XP rate, but if you haven't done your gunsmith task yet, I would highly recommend waiting to do them. Now, this is more of a tip after level 15, and it's one that I'm currently doing right now myself. Once you do Gunsmith 1 and Gunsmith 2 to get the additional tasks that come from them, farming's one of them, and then there's another one that you get. See, I'm on Gunsmith Part 3. I save every single one of these because if there's ever a point I need to level up quickly, just one level, if I knock out all of the gunsmiths just by buying the shit on the flea market, it goes really quick. You can get a absolute shit ton of XP by just grinding through every single one of the gunsmith. Now, I don't know what gunsmith it is that the Acez is on, for example, but if you do get stuck on one of those found in raid weapons that you can't buy on the flea market anymore, that will be the only thing to slow you down from progressing on the gunsmith chain. Also, if you're not a high enough level, that could also stop you. But usually I don't do gunsmith until like high 20s, low 30s, because I do need that small extra push to get to 35, to get to loyalty level 4, I believe, for therapists, and then able to get a thick items case from that point on. So that is one tip that I personally do every single wipe. I don't go past part 3 on gunsmith until I need XP. It levels you up extremely quickly. On gunsmith 3, 2800 XP, it ain't shit. When you're on gunsmith 10, gunsmith 15, you're getting 10s, 20s, 30,000s worth of XP, and that combined with like 10 other tasks that are a little bit less than the higher ones, but it's a steady progression line up when it comes to the amount of XP you get. If you're knocking out 10 gunsmith in a row, you're gonna level up. It's just bound to happen. So that is a personal tip. It's not really like 100% like the other two. I mean, literally you can get XP by going into raid and then leaving the raid and healing if you're that down bad, and the other one, like I said, is just removing part of the debuff by mopping the floor. And obviously, if you already have the gym built, that does not apply to you. And then the third one, saving gunsmith. That's just something I personally do. But this is 3 tips out of raid, no in-raid actions at all to level you up a little bit faster and escape from Tarkov. Do me a favor, make sure you're dropping a like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.